Retribution, the only way. He too will drink of the wine of God's fury, which has been poured full strength into the cup of his wrath. He will be tormented with burning sulfur in the presence of the holy angels and of the Lamb. Revelations 14:10. We all know the stories that confront us before the drool has dried from our chins. The pillar of salt, men turned to beasts, women raped by beasts, the raising of Sodom and Gomorrah, plagues of locusts, flies, and frogs, and firstborn, the golems, the demons, 7 circles of hell, those struck dumb, struck mute, struck dead. The lessons in our churches and cartoons, in our fairy tales and mosques, in our temples and dirty jokes, in our schools, newspapers, and the panopticonic stares of the others all around us of retribution. It's the only way, the way we're all taught, the way we all learn. The Greeks begat unto us Homer, and he begat unto us heroes. The Iliad, Menon aide thea periadu achilleus. The first word means wrath. And the punishment of Odysseus and his raging slaughters of suitors. He hides in disguise, bolts the door, draws tight his bowl, and tensing the gut around his spear, notches arrows, buries them in suitors' necks to the feathered fledgling. Sacrifices, sacrifices, sacrifices of blood, crushed rib cages of children, buried under Kali by the original thugs. Yahweh, the wrath of God, used to justify Katrina, tsunamis, the World Trade Center. Yahweh, like your brother Moloch, you need demasiado sacrifice. You slaughtered your only son, allowed stupid, reeking centurions to hammer nails in his hands, spike his head with thorns, lance his side like an overgrown boil, jeering and spitting into dumb desert mouths, dehydrated, mocking the logos until it broke. And the flood, you bitch, always the flood. Only one Cuban-loving motherfucker spared in the greatest genocide ever told, until you let our sun implode. But because of your stubbornness and your unrepentant heart, you are storing up wrath against yourself for the day of God's wrath, when his righteous judgment will be revealed. Romans 2:5. They might drown my city. As glaciers spill their guts into our oceans and bleed up our coasts, a briny marauder with blades in its molecular teeth, moving up our legs 4 times faster, gnawing at the Holland Tunnel, hacking at the East Side Highway, bashing Battery Park, eroding the foundation of the new World Trade Center, the ferries, Canal Street, Coney Island, South Street Seaport, the FDR Drive, Brooklyn Navy Yard, Long Island City, something else we will always never forget. Mary, that same somebody that blew up America is doing it again. In their paradises fenced in with green teeth, under traditional blankets of oil-soaked trust funds, paid for by our people with their weary blood. But I rise before the rise of the lists of somebody. Kennedy and Cotton and Vance and Trump and Scalise and the Kochs, and out of the Harris endlessly fracking. Paul Ryan accuses like a Pharisee, intentionally misleading the public. Data was manipulated to a predetermined conclusion, perversion of the scientific method. You better pray that you are right. Over 40 million eyes are on you, and many of them are armed. Not to mention, if you drown my city, you will wish I was only Achilles. After I shackled your carcasses behind my chariot and hit the gas until your bones have been bared from the flesh, it will come to pass that you help this, my city, drown You'll no longer need to fear Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, or the fatwas declared on false prophets. I will enact the wrath of all gods, not just Allah, Yahweh, Kali, Zeus, Shiva. It will be Homeric, it will be cinematic, it will be biblical. You will wish for Dante's punishment on fraud sorcerers, heads twisted on their bodies backward, so you can watch your back. You better be looking behind you. I will steal the hammer of Thor and pound your head into your face with shitty teeth. You will wish you had died as a child, or better, that your father, like Kronos, had swallowed you. I'm going to bring this diseased temple down on your head. Like the planes that went into our towers, I will penetrate your life. Your women and children will die screaming, dressed out like deer. Your sleeping friends gutted like sound, like a biblical plague, a Homeric page, the revolt of a slave. I will risk the torment Dante promised the wrath, and gnash my teeth against all the other wrathful in a lake forever if I get to sharpen them on you first. You can follow a Greek warrior into Hades, or Dante into the confines of hell, past the gluttons lying in the cold mud, the greedy crushed, the liars whipped by Beelzebub, steeped in excrement, blowtorches burning the soles of their feet, past the corrupt politicians in a lake of boiling pitch, sticky like their fingers and dark like their corridor secrets, the sowers of discord divided with a sword, the feverish, treacherous, disemboweled, and never find the wrath you will find in me. And if you drown my city, I will show you the way, like a god. Retribution.